Hi and welcome to Geeks for Geeks. Today we would be doing the post contest analysis of 106 and I would be the mentor designated for it. Now, before I move forward, if you're present in the chat, just give me a quick one in the chat. Okay, so now let's talk about the views that I have to this problem. The views that I have to this problem is that this problem seemed to be a balanced contest, like the first problem being easiest, the second problem being a little bit a modification of the easiest one, the third problem being a good level. Okay, so good evening Tanmay De, good evening Chinmaya, good evening Yuvraj. Okay, good evening Shujatullah Khan. You're most welcome Tanmaya Dev. Okay, so I think we are pretty good to move forward. So if you are in the stream, just give me a quick like in the video. Just let me just see what is the number of likes in this video. The number of likes are absolutely very less than the number of. I could not even solve the first problem. That's absolutely fine. Everyone faces this issue. Like if you want to confirm this, just go on every post contest analysis and you would find a person who is not able to solve even a single problem. But that happens with everyone. This is a phase that everyone needs to go through. So let's talk about the very first problem. The very first problem, if you solve it in a pen and paper, it would give you a hint that yes, this problem can be solved by using simple mathematics. Let's see the second problem. The second problem seemed to be a tree problem, but the knowledge of simple trees and the terminologies of the tree is enough to form the first problem. The last problem was a problem where you need to think a little bit. Okay, you need to be good with recursion and you need to be good with tree itself. Good evening Tanmaya Dev. अरे यार सर मत बोलो उतना भी बूढ़ा नहीं हूँ. Call me भैया or sir. That's absolutely fine. Okay, so I think we are pretty good to move forward. Let's start with the very first problem. Okay. Geek plants. देख लेते हैं. चलो. So quickly read this one. Quickly read this problem in just 1 minute and we would quickly move forward. Okay, so now let's start with the problem. I think we are good to go. Thank you so much Tanmaya Dev. Okay, चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. Okay, so ये गया ये. Okay, so please don't say this is just for me to just refer the problem statement. Now let's start with the very first one. Okay, now it is telling me that a person wants to water some plants. Okay, let's draw some few plants. Okay, let's say this is plant 1, this is plant 2, this is plant 3, this is plant 4, and this is plant 5. Okay, this is just like 5n people, like there are n small childrens. Okay, let's say these are all childrens and they want sweets. Okay, let's say my birthday happened in my locality, in my house, and small childrens, my mother has invited small childrens to my house, and now they too, like I want to distribute sweets among them. Okay, like let me just check if I'm visible or not.
For not going empty-handed last minute, link it. India's last hitter.
Okay, fair enough. So now see this. So what I can say is there are m uh, m students, like there are n childrens, and I want to distribute sweets on them. Why? Because it's my birthday in my locality. Now, as they are child and they are very innocent, so what they told us, this person told me that bhaiya I want two sweets. This told me bhaiya I want six sweets. This told me I want four sweets, and this told me that I want 10 sweets. Okay. Now, if I'm just removing this, okay, बच्चे बहुत दिल के साफ होते हैं, वो खुद से मांग लेते हैं. And when we grow up, our parents teach us that we shouldn't ask on our own. We should wait for others. We should have the courtesy so that we don't ask. Okay, ऐसा होता है. But बच्चे लोग खुद से मांग लेते हैं. Okay, fair enough. So let's say I want to use only one utensil. Okay, I want to use only one utensil. मुझे एक ही bowl use करना है. Okay, now I want to determine the size of the bowl. I have different sizes of the bowl. Okay, like I have one utensil which can hold only one sweet at a time. I have a utensil which can hold two sweets at a time. I have a utensil which can hold three sweets at a time. And similarly, like let's say this is still infinity. Let's say this is 100. Let's keep this simple. Let's say I have these many sizes of bowls that are available for me to distribute sweets. Okay. Now, what I want to do is, my mother has made all the sweets in the kitchen, and I want to distribute them to the to the children's that are sitting in the drawing room. Okay. Now I want to use one bowl to do it. I want to use one bowl to do it. Remember it. I want to use one utensil ut. I would just write I want to use only one ut, and I need to make sure that this particular utensil is filled. Okay, I don't want to do the extra hard work of taking size 3 utensil and carrying only one laddu. Okay, so I want it to be filled at max. Okay, it is just like the scenario that if I'm at the gym and I can handle 10 kgs for bicep curl, I would take 10 kg, not less than 10 kg. So what I want is, I want to use only one utensil and I want to use the maximum capacity of it. Okay. So what is the most optimal utensil to use? So if I use the utensil of size 1, then I would be required to give him 2 times. I would be required to give him 6 times. I would be required to give him 4 times. I would be required to give him 10 times. Okay, 2 plus 6 plus 4 plus 10. I need to bring how many number of times? I need to bring, if I just use the very first bowl, I need to bring 6 plus 4 10, 22 times. मतलब मुझे 22 बार किचन से आना जाना करना होगा. Okay, now let's see the next scenario. If I use, and at no instance the bowl was empty. Okay, उसकी capacity 1 है and we have used the capacity 1 at all times. Okay, let me just see if there are any clashes in between. Okay, fair enough. Now the very next thing is, I use a boil of size 2. Okay, now the very next what I would do is, see, I would come here once, I would come here thrice, I would come here twice, I would come here 5 times. So what is the sum that I have? The sum that I have is 1, like I would come here once. Okay, 1 plus 3 plus 2 plus 5. So 1 plus 3 is equals to 4, 4 plus 2 is equals to 6, 6 plus 5 is equals to 11. So I would be required to go 11 times to do this. Okay, I would be required to go 11 times to do this. Fair enough. Now the very last one, 3. Now if you just see, I can't distribute sweets to the very first person. Why? Because I have a bowl of 3, but I'm just using 2 laddus. So this is left still. So I just framed the question in a different storyline, because if I'm explaining the problem statement, I would assume that you were not able to understand the problem statement. That is why I just used a different scenario, translating everything in Hindi so that you have a proper sum up with a translation. हम क्या कर रहे हैं, हमारे घर में 2-4 बच्चे आए हैं. ओके, बच्चे अपने से बोल दिए कि भैया मुझे 2 स्वीट्स चाहिए, मुझे 6 स्वीट्स चाहिए, भैया मैं तो 10 खाऊंगा. ओके, अब मेरी मम्मी ने कहा कि देखो, एक यूटेंसिल से 2 को खाना मत देना. पहला कंडीशन ये है, एक यूटेंसिल से मैं 2 को खाना नहीं दे सकता. दूसरा कंडीशन ये है कि एक यूटेंसिल जब लेके जाओ तो जगह बर्बाद मत करना, उसे पूरा कैपेसिटी यूज करना. ओके, सो अगर मैं 1 वाली यूटेंसिल यूज करता हूँ, लेट मी एक्सप्लेन यू विद दिस. अगर मैं 1 वाली यूटेंसिल यूज करता हूँ तो मैं इसके लिए 2 बार आऊंगा, इसके लिए 6 बार आऊंगा, इसके लिए 4 बार आऊंगा, इसके लिए 10 बार आऊंगा. अगर मैं 2 की यूज करता हूँ तो इसके लिए 1 बार आऊंगा, इसके लिए 3 बार आऊंगा, इसके लिए 2 बार, इसके लिए 5 बार, एंड एक बार भी मेरा यूटेंसिल खाली नहीं जाता. अगर मैं 3 के लिए आऊंगा तो जब मैं इसके लिए आऊंगा तो एक स्पेस बचा हुआ रहा, एक स्पेस वुड बी एम्प्टी, बिकॉज 3 3 3, मैं फर्स्ट वाले के लिए 2 लड्डू तो रख लिया, बट तीसरा लड्डू तो है ही नहीं. नाउ व्हाट आई कैन डू इज, मैं तीसरा लड्डू इसका ले लूं, बट माँ ने कहा है एक यूटेंसिल से सिर्फ एक ही जन को परोसना है, एक यूटेंसिल से 2 को नहीं परोस सकते. दैट इज वाई द आउटपुट इज 2, not 1, not 3, not 4, just 2. So am I clear with the explanation of the problem statement? Am I clear with the explanation of the sample test case? Just reply me with a quick one, and then we will move forward with the idea itself. Okay, just reply me with a quick one. I'm observing that from the chat itself. Okay, so if I just write out these test cases, okay, if I just write out these all test cases, 2 4 6 10, okay, ये रहने देते हैं. Okay, 2 4 6 10, and just removing all this because these are all not needed, just keeping this. Okay, now the scenario is that whatever number I am taking, it should be a multiple of बच्चे जो मांग रहे हैं, वरना जगह खाली रह जाए. What I want to say is, or let's say I want to serve a person who wants 10 sweets. So I can only use a bowl of size 1, size 2, size 5, and size 10. Because other than that, if I use any other value of the bowl, the space would be left. Okay, like if I just use 3 is not mentioned here, let's say I use just a bowl of 3. So 3 plus 3 plus 3 is equals to 9, and space, one space would be left. So जो भी value लेना होगा, that should be a multiple. Okay, पहला hint मुझे यही मिल जा रहा है कि I need to select a multiple. I need to select a multiple. This is the first conclusion I can draw. Okay, this is the first conclusion. Now the very next conclusion is that जो भी multiple लेना है, it's not that we need to just feed one person. Okay, I need to feed this person also, this person also, this person also, and this person also. I need to fill all of them. सारे person feed होने चाहिए. So I need to take a common multiple of that. Okay, and this value should be common. Okay, now 1 is also a common multiple. So 1 is also a common multiple, 2 is also a common multiple. Okay, let's say 1 is also a common multiple, but 2 is also a common multiple. Okay, but we take out 2. Why? Because the energy used when we use a higher value would be less. अगर मैं 10 को 10 से डिवाइड करूं, अगर मैं 10 को परोसने के लिए 10 साइज का बोल लूं, तो मुझे एक ही बार जाना होगा. 10 को परोसने के लिए मैं अगर 2 का साइज का बोल लूं तो मुझे 5 बार जाना होगा. 10 को परोसने के लिए अगर मैं 5 साइज का बोल लूँ तो मुझे 2 बार जाना होगा। तो सबसे बेनिफिशियल क्या हुआ? सबसे बेनिफिशियल इज दिस वन, यू पर, ओके, सबसे beneficial is this one, to feed the person with a size of 10, because I need to go only one time at that instant. So select a common multiple and select a max common multiple. अब मैं यहाँ लिख सकता हूँ select a common multiple, and the very next condition other than this would be it should be max. So maximum common multiple, this is what I want. Maximum common multiple is nothing but highest common factor, HCF, that you have learned in your school days. Okay, so समझ में आ गया कि I need to take out the HCF, I need to return it. Now the problem is very simple, we would just take out the HCF, return it as the answer. Now let us move to the implementation of this. Just quickly tell me, I would be waiting for the next 30 seconds or so. Quickly tell me if this thing is clear or not. अभी रुक जाते थोड़ा देर. Tell me quickly that this thing is clear or not. I drew out the test cases, took a different storyline to make you understand the problem statement. From the solution, I tried to make out few observation. I was able to find out 3 observation. Combining 3 observation, I was able to find 3 words. That is nothing but maximum common multiple, which is nothing but HCF. एनी फॉर एन, इतना क्लियर नहीं लिखना होगा अभिषेक और शुजातुल्ला खान, जस्ट वन लिख दो, एनफ है. ओके, दिस इज अ संडे इवनिंग and I don't want you to give all your energy in contest also and post contest also. Okay, save your energy, just reply me with a one so that I can just move forward and don't lag in between. As per me, I traced my code and for the test case it says it failed. As per me, it should work. So find a friend who can debug your solution. If you are not able to find a friend who can debug your solution and you are feeling absolutely helpless, then consider connecting with me on LinkedIn. I would be helping you in my free time. If someone is ready to review your code, it's fine. Else, I would review your code in my free time. I hope it's comfortable I because from Monday to Friday I do a full-time job as an SD. I behave like an SD. On weekends I behave as a mentor. थोड़ा सा टाइम बचता है पर्सनल लाइफ के लिए. So if I get time out of my personal life, I will just give you that. Fair enough. So now what I want to do is, okay, so what I want to do HCF. Okay, so what I would do is I would just write HCF. How if I was in a contest, HCF STL C++. Okay, see, I've opened it also. I would go towards it. I would see the syntax of it. Syntax they clear. Now I would try to implement it. Okay, I would take the initial values as int g is equals to a of 0. Okay, and then I would start off with all the elements. Okay, and then I would say g is equals to dash dash gcd of e comma a of I, at the end return g. Okay, and this one would be long. सर मत बुलाओ यार. संडे के शाम को सर नहीं बुलवाना चाहता किसी से. ओके, और सर जैसा दिखता भी नहीं हूँ यार, प्रोफेसर जैसा लगता हूँ क्या? Okay, g is equals to gcd of a of 3. What is this error? No matching function for calling out the GCD. Okay, is the code visible? Okay, I would write it again. Sorry, I forgot to switch on the tab. Now it should be switched. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to have long and कहीं पे जो GCD store करना है, we need a variable so that we can store the GCD. Okay, we need a variable to do that. Now let's start. So what I would do is I would say long GC GCDs. Okay, long GCDs is equals to a of 0. Okay, and then I have the long sum. Okay, long sum is equals to 0. Why? Because what I need to do is I just need to count how many number of times I need to do. Okay, so if I have 10 and I'm using bowl of size 2, then it would be 10 divided by size of the bowl. Number of sweets required divided by the size of the bowl. That would tell me how many number of times I need to go. Let's say this is a 1 liter bottle, okay, and I have a glass of 200 ml. Okay, so how many times I would require to use that glass? I would be required 5 times. Why? Because 1000 liters divide 1000 milliliters divided by 200 milliliters is 5. So total sum divided by GCD would tell me how many number of times I need to go. Okay, so this can be simply an int also, because GCD would never be in a long. Okay, because this is an integer, so this would be also an integer. Now what I would do is I would start from the very first element, and we are considering the first element, so we can start off with the second element. For int I is equals to 1, I is less than n, and I plus plus. At this point we would be asking if GCDs is equals to GCD of GCDs, comma A of I. After this point, I would also have the sum. Sum plus is equals to A of I. After all of this, the total amount 1000 liters divided by 200. Okay, that is GCDs. Now let me see how many errors am I making. Seems like no errors are being made. Okay, so now tell me if this code is clear to you or not. If not, consider telling me the line number at which you are not able to understand. The code was absolutely very simple. Like the code of first two problems is very simple, only understanding is needed. Okay, so I would send you the IDE link also. Is the code visible now, Abhishek and Varun? I think it is visible because I am previewing that in my mobile screen. Okay, so it is visible on my end at till this point also. Line number 37. Line number 37 is using the syntax from this article. This is just an inbuilt function of C++ STL जो हमें GCD दे देता है. If you don't have an inbuilt function of GCD, just use the Euclidean algorithm. At line number 38, why are we adding? Okay, so चलो ये भी कर लेते हैं. Okay, why are we adding? I thought that this would create an issue. So चलो. Okay, why are we adding? Good question. Okay, चलो. Let's say I found out that I would be using a utensil of 2. Okay, this was already shown in the dry run, but still I would show you again because मुझे आपसे chocolate चाहिए. Okay, just let me see if I'm visible or not. Yep, I'm visible. Chalo. So see this for yourself that अरे यार इतना ad. Sometimes I too get frustrated because of this all ad and stuff. Okay, So see this for yourself. I need to lower down the quality more. Yep, see this. So if I'm using a utensil of size 2, so for this person, I would be required to go one time. For this person, I would be required to go three times. For this person, I would be required to go two times. For this person, I would be required to go five times. In the end, we need to add all of them, and this would tell me the total number of times I need to go to distribute the chocolate to everyone. This is one way. Okay, this is one way. At each step you can just divide it with the GCD. Okay, or else what I can do is, what is this value? The value is 1 plus 3 4, 4 plus 2 6, 6 plus 5 11. So I need to go 11 times. Now there is one more trick I can do. What I can do is, I can simply add up all the values. 2 plus 6 plus 4 plus 10. What is the value after this? This is 8 plus 4 12, 12 plus 10, it is 22. Now whatever the size of the utensil I am using, okay, I would divide it from that. 22 divided by 2 is equals to 11. So either आप individually divide कर लो, either आप एक साथ divide कर लो, value would be same. Okay, this is why we are adding Abhishek. Do I make sense to you? By the way, you can add individually also. Okay, after you have taken out the HCF, you can add them individually also. Let me just show you that also. Geeks plant. Yep, I am visible now. Just let us see this. So if I comment out this one, okay, if I remove this one, okay, now I would say long answer is equals to 0. At this point, I would again use a for each loop, okay, and then I would say answer plus is equals to E divided by GCD. Okay, whatever the value is coming up, we can just return it in the form of answer. Understanding is important, implementation is not important. आप ऐसे करो या वैसे करो. If you are a newbie in programming, I expect you to solve up this. But if the same thing can be done in a single loop, why not do it? Chalo, let's move forward to the second problem. I hope I am clear, Abhishek. For those who are not clear, consider giving me a 0 in the chat. Okay. Now let's move on to the last problem. This problem, I would just copy out this test case. Am I presenting my whole screen? Let me just present my whole screen. Thank you so much, Abhishek. एक चॉकलेट खिलाना आप. बहुत मेहनत हो जाती है ना. चलो. By the way, I heard from LinkedIn, like people were like, अभी भी दो चार मेरे viewers ऐसे हैं who are generous enough to directly not like they like खराब impression मेरा impression बचाने के लिए what they do is they still give me positive feedbacks and still my DM. Okay, I have 2 or 3 loyal viewers of mine, just 2 or 3, who give positive feedbacks to me on the DM, and they are viewer. Okay, so I found out that some people from this from like very old viewer, like they used to watch my PODs also, they told me that भैया वो feel नहीं आ रही आप जो लिखते थे, इस पे थोड़ा lag करता है. So what I did was I started presenting the whole iPad screen into this screen. Just I'm screen mirroring this to the whole screen, so you would also get the feel of scribbling. Okay, वो बोर्ड वाली फील फिर से आ जाएगी. Okay, now let us draw out the first sample test case. Okay, what is given here? You are given a graph. Okay, you are given a graph which consists of a cycle. okay, which consists of a cycle. What do you mean by cycle? Starts at the same position, start at same position, end at the same position. This is known as a cycle. Okay, you are given a graph which contains a cycle. Okay, now you are told to modify the cycle. Okay, now you are told to modify the cycle. Okay, you are told to modify the cycle. कैसे modify करना है? The modification should be such that the length is preserved. This is just like the scenario that let's take a very funny example. Let's say I want to meet my, let's say I want to meet my girlfriend. Okay, she is out there in the market arena. Okay, and her parents are in this one. Okay, so she told me that take any other path towards me and meet me. Okay, so in the same manner, this is just like the same thing that आपको फिर से साइकिल ही फॉर्म करना है, बट वो सेम लेंथ, उस सेम मेहनत करना होगा and cycle ही रखना है. Okay, so let's see the very first sample test case. Let's say we have a edge from 1 to 2, then we have an edge from 2 to 3, then we have an edge from 3 to 4, and then we have an edge from 4 to 2. Okay, so you can see that there is a cycle of length 3. What do you mean by length? Length is nothing but number of nodes in that path. So यहाँ पे we have a proper cycle like this, and the number of nodes are how much in this cycle? 1, 2, 3. The number of nodes are 3 in this cycle. Okay, so I need to make any other node, like एक edge, like I need to modify one edge, I need to remove one edge. ओके, मुझे एक एज रिमूव करके एक एज ऐड करना है, सो दैट 3 साइज का ही साइकिल रहे, बट द साइकिल शुड बी डिफरेंट. सो व्हाट आई कैन डू इज लेट्स जस्ट draw it somewhere like this. Okay, what I can do is I can remove up this. I'm removing one edge, I'm adding one edge. Now I still have a cycle of length 3. Length is preserved, one edge is removed, new edge is inserted, and this is not the last cycle. So this is how the first test case is built up. Let's see the second test case. Okay. Understanding the solution would have been a little bit difficult if the second test case was not given. First, tell me if the solution to this question is clear to you or not. First, tell me this. If the solution to this question is clear to you or not. Give me a quick one in the chat. Just give me a quick one. Number of edges is greater than length of the cycle. No, bro, it's very easy. I would tell you. First, tell me if this thing is clear or not. There are more than 30 people. I don't want a bunch of 30 people to waste their time and sit for others to give me a quick one. If you need a job, you are sitting for this. Your time is precious. Thora time bachalo, you can solve one more problem. I can also learn one more problem if I finish this stream early. Okay? तो दोनों के लिए अच्छा है. That's a better deal for everyone if you keep the waiting time less. Thanks a lot, Tanmaya. Thanks a lot, Joseph. Okay. So now, if the second sample test case was not given, it would have been difficult. Now see this. Let me just copy this second sample test case. Okay. So okay. Let me just have it again. Mhm. 1 2 2 3 4 1. Why is it happening the same one? Why the sync copy of Mac is not working? मेरा कोई error नहीं, Mac का error है. Okay, this is the second one. Okay, चलो Mac का error नहीं है bro. मुझे लग रहा था कि I was still doing the first sample test case. Okay, so see it for yourself. Second sample test case would give you a very clear idea. If you see the very first sample test case, it would tell you that यार ये तो difficult है. How would I know that I need to remove one edge, I need to reply one edge? Okay, if you just see this problem, okay, if you just see out this test case, it becomes very easy. Okay, so you are given that we have an edge from 1 to the value 2, then we have an edge from 2 to the value 3, then we have an edge from 3 to the value 4, and then we have an edge from 4 to the value 1. Okay, so you can see a circle kind of thing is formed. Here I have shown you in the form of rectangle or square, but a circle kind of thing is formed. And let us just think of something more. Let's think that this is a circle and it consists of small nodes. Okay. Can you modify this cycle to something else and the length would still be the same? No, you can't. If you just add, if you just remove this edge and add an edge from here, it won't be a cycle of the same length. If you remove this half and you add this length, still it won't be the same. So I can see that if a circle kind of structure is formed, then it is not possible. Okay, structure kind of structure में it is not possible. Else ये हमेशा possible होगा. Okay, else this is always possible. Okay, like let's say if this thing was not present, if something like this was present. Okay, if something like this was present and I need to modify circle, the length of this cycle is 3. Okay, so let's modify this cycle. Now what I can do is I can remove this edge, I can add this edge, and now still the length is 3. So you can draw out some little bit more test cases and you can come to the conclusion that every time it is possible, but when it is something like a circle, it is not possible. Okay, now let us see कि what is the condition of the circle. अब ऐसा तो है नहीं कि we have a function for finding out if a circle is there or not. What is basically a circle? A circle, if it is a circle, then it would have two outgoing edge, like two edges going out, like two edges. The degree, this is known as degree. So I would just tell you the analogy of this. See, if we have a node, we have a node. So the number of edges, if it is directed graph, the number of edges coming to it is in degree. The number of edges going from it is out degree. Okay, and if it is an undirected graph, the number of edges surpassing this is degree. So number of edges of this one is 3. The number of edges of this is 2. The number of edge of this one is 1. So यहाँ पे we can see that every node has a degree of 2. So basically we just need to count the degree of all the nodes. You can see it for yourself that this node has 2 degree, 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 and vice versa. So the degree of all the node is, if it is 2, then it is not possible. If it is not 2, then it is possible. Do I make sense? Give me a quick yes or no. You can draw out some more figures like this, and then you can say it for yourself that every time this would be easy to guess, other than if a circle is present. Okay, if the second test case was not given, then this would be considered as a hard problem. But this second test case confirms that this is not a hard problem, this is a medium level problem. Still, if you're not able to complete this, it is very easy to understand that the difficulty level of each of you is different. The problems which seem easy for me is difficult for you, and the problems which are easy for you might be difficult for me. So everyone has their same different space and different curve and different knowledge and different speed and accuracy, and we need to respect it. Everyone is different as an individual. So give me a quick one if this thing is clear. Bro, can you check the cycle length equal to n? Could we also check cycle length is equals to n? To be specific, no. Because it might be a scenario that there are two cycles. Okay, there are two cycles involving, like what I can say is like length is equals to 3 now. So let's say this is 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, so the length of the cycle cumulative would be 6. Okay, cumulative would be 6. But what we can do is we can simply remove an edge from here and we can add an edge from here. So basically this might work, but I'm not very sure if this would work or not. Finding out the length of the cycle. So let us see this analogy. Why I didn't thought of this idea if I was sitting in a contest. So length of the cycle में क्या करना होगा? I need to find if a cycle exists. Find if a cycle exists. This is my first procedure. Then find the length of all the cycle. Find the length of all cycles. And then if any of the cycle has a length of n, then I need to report it. So I need to build a graph before here to find a cycle. इतने सारे steps से ज़्यादा easy नहीं है कि by using the adjacency matrix, I just find out the degree of each one of everyone. I find out the degree of everyone. After finding out the degree, I just check it using a for loop by iterating over everyone. If it is not equal to 2, I would return false. So this is much simpler. This is much simpler. थोड़ा easy सोचो. Good programmers think hard problems in an easy manner. So even though ये cycle वाली चीज सही हो, even though ये सही हो, still even though if this solutions works, then you would require 4 step. But even if the solution does not work, even if this solution does work, you would require 4 step. But this solution, which is working one, it would require just 2 steps and simple just counting out the degree. You don't even need to build up the graph. Okay, very simple. So now let us understand this implementation. To understand the implementation, what we can do is we are given the adjacency matrix. Okay, अब इसका फायदा उठाते हैं. Okay, we are given out the relations. थोड़ा सा मजा करते हैं. इसका देखो. See, for finding out the degree, there are many ways, but for me the most easiest way is if we are already given these all relations, you can directly use that. How? I would first declare an array of size n. So array of size n plus 1. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. See it for yourself. And initially every value is 0. Every value is 0. Okay. Now after this, I found out that there is an edge from 1 to 2. It is given 1 to 2 has an edge. So I would increment the counter of 1. I would increment the counter of 2. Okay, increment 0 plus 1 is equals to 1. Now we have 2, 3. So I would increment the counter of 2. I would increment the counter of 3. Then we have 3, 4. I would increment the counter of 3. I would increment the counter of 4. Then we have 4, 2. I would increment the counter of 4. I would increment the counter of 2. So after this, I find out that this value is not equal to this value. This value is not equal. Sorry, you don't need to consider 0. This value is not equal to 2. This value is not equal to 2. and rest all the values are equal to 2. So we have some values which is not equal to 2. So it can be done. Now let's see the second one. Okay. Again, use the same idea. What we need to do? Declare an array of size n plus 1. So I would declare an array of size 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Initially, every value is 0. Then we can see that we have an edge from 1 to 2. So we would increment the counter of 1 and 2. We would increment the counter of 2 and 3. 2 and 3. Then we would increment the counter of 3 and 4. 3 and 4. Then we would increment the counter of 4 and 1. 4 and 1. After everything, we would go from 1 till the value of n. We found out, okay, 1 अच्छा बच्चा है, it is having 2. 2 भी अच्छा बच्चा है, it is having 2. 3 भी अच्छा बच्चा है, it is having 2. 4 भी अच्छा बच्चा है, it is also having 2. So we are not able to find a node which is not having the value as 2. So a modification of the cycle with the same length is not possible. आ गया समझ? थैंक यू सो मच जोसेफ. कब खिला रहे हो चॉकलेट? आपको मैंने बहुत बार रिप्लाई कर दिया. पहले भी स्ट्रीम में रिप्लाई किया ना आपको. I thought this is very lengthy. No, 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 no. See, एक hint देता हूँ. Okay, this is very important. Okay, this is very important. Please understand this. Okay, if the question is asking me a simple yes or no, take it as an indication that इससे बस हाँ ना से मतलब है. मतलब मुझे भी I don't need to do processing. इसका कोई easy hack type होगा. Whenever you are told to just reply with a yes or no, most of the time मैंने ये observe किया, this is my personal observation, it is not mandatory, at most of the time when a problem mentions that a yes no is required, what we can simply do is we should think of something very simple, like इसका कोई easy hack होगा. Okay, when a problem seems very complex and you are needed to only reply with a yes or no, then try to think of a very simple alternative. Utna hard mat socho. This is a small hack I use still today when I code. You can implement it. If this sentence made sense to you, consider replying on this chat, and you can comment it also. अच्छा लगता है. Everyone likes appreciation. Every human likes appreciation, and I'm no other. So now what I can do is I would simply make everything as the smaller value. Okay, this would be, I would make it just g itself. Now what I would do is I would declare a vector of size n plus 1. Okay, n plus 1. Now I would see it for yourself. What is the value of n? 10 to the power 5. 10 to the power 5 तो संभाल ही लेगा, अच्छा बच्चा है. Okay, so now what I can do is I can simply say for auto e dash g and u is equals to e dash 0. This is the first node, and v is equals to e dash 1. Okay, अब if there is an edge from u to v, so both degree would be increased by 1. So v of u plus plus and v of v कर दिया ना. Okay, I'm a very lazy person. Let's make it x and y. Okay, I have a very bad naming convention. Okay, like when I first landed into my SB thing in GeeksforGeeks, I suffered a lot because of this. Okay, so x plus plus y plus plus. After doing all of this, what we can simply do is we can start off from 1 because the edges nodes are 1 indexed. So I would start off from 1, I is equals to 1, I is less than equal to n, and I plus plus, and we would check if any of these all values, if v of I is not equal to the value 2, I would say, see, yeah, this is not possible. Okay, this is not possible. How I need to return no? I need to return no in lower case. Okay, this is not possible. अगर ऐसा नहीं होता so हाँ भैया possible तो हो ही जाएगा कैसे भी कैसे. हाँ में ना है ना में हाँ है. ओके ओके चलो मैं ही फंस गया. ओके सो देखता हूँ डीबग करते हैं चलो मजा आता है. ओके सो व्हाट आई कैन डू इज we have an edge from x to y. So x would increase, y would increase. We would go from 1 to n. Your output is no 1 2 1 4 1 3 1 3. Oh, we have 1 3 two times. Yeah, काफी weird आजकल दे देता है. Let me just keep it. Okay. Let me see the graph. चलो let's edit in real time so that you would also know कि अगर मुझे ऐसा आता है मुझे पता है my solution is correct, so how I deal with it. So what I would do is I would simply take up this, I would paste it here. Simple सा एक graph बन गया. In this scenario I can find out that a cycle is not present. Okay. अगर ऐसा कुछ है तो cycle is not present. If so, it is told that the consideration involved are cannot in the this was then there is a cycle of cyclic length of size 2. Okay, length 2 is possible. Okay, length 2 can be done. So what is the sample like? Let me just hit the compile and run. Any errors I'm doing? Okay, I need to return a yes. And here I need to return a no. Okay, I was doing the opposite. Sorry. अभी still अभी तक थोड़ा नूब बना है. चलो हो गया. Now tell me if things are clear to you or not. See this for yourself. I would be sharing the tab and I would be copying the solution in an IDE and I would be sharing it. चलो देखते हैं. By the way, like I'm like, like for many days I'm doing this post content. Thanks, Bhaiya, for sharing experience. Thank you so much, Rishabh. Thank you so much, Rajiv. Okay, now just tell me the line number at which you are not able to understand. That way we would move on to the last problem. Okay, चलो बताओ जल्दी जल्दी कि what is the no doubt. Others, can I have a quick one from other people? Like there are more than 30 people. So quickly give reply me with a one. ओके, चलो लास्ट प्रॉब्लम पे जाते हैं. Last problem, I would explain it. चलो. This is a little bit bigger. No? ऐसे रखते हैं. चलो, let's move forward. This problem I would explain you. Okay. Now, this problem statement, I find it very beginner friendly. Okay. The problem statement tells us that you are given a tree data structure. Okay. Now there are some terminologies. If you're not acquainted with the terminologies of the tree, I would just tell you what are the different terminology of the tree itself. Okay. This is, let's say, tree. This is known as the root of the tree. Okay. This node is the parent of these two nodes. This node is the parent of these two nodes. And similarly, this node is the parent of these two nodes. Okay. A node which has no children is known as leaf node. Okay. So here in this question, you are told that you are given a tree. Okay. And in this tree, you need to distribute coronavirus vaccine to everyone. Basically, you just need, let's say, just try to do instead of vaccine, let's understand with the help of a virus. Okay. Now I suppose I am a very devil person. ऐसा सोचना मत, ठीक है, ऐसा सोचना ही है बस, हूँ नहीं. Okay. अच्छा बच्चा हूँ मैं. Okay. So सोचता हूँ. Okay, let's say कि like I'm a very devil person and I want to spread virus, okay, across the whole tree. Okay. And what is the power of each virus? The power of each virus is that it would infect the parent, it would infect himself, like ye wali cheese, this is very important, like it would infect the parent, it would infect himself, and it would infect also its children. ओके, चिल्ड्रंस नहीं होता, चिल्ड्रन होता है, माँ ने सिखाया था, मम्मी इंग्लिश टीचर है ना, इसीलिए. ओके, फेयर एनफ. So now at this point, so now we can see these are the things. So let's, for instance, I infect, like let's understand this also, like let's say I infect this person. So this person, if I infect this person will infect this person would infect this person, and this vaccine would be floated to everyone. But if I infect with a virus to this person would be affected. Okay. So now what I want is, I'm a very devil person, but मुझे बजट की भी काफी चिंता है. Okay. Let's say मैं एक मतलब I'm a very miser person, मैं कंजूस इंसान हूँ. Okay. So I want to save virus. Okay. मेरे पास I have a very lot appetite of virus, like I have a lot quantity of virus, but still I want to save the number of virus used. Okay. This is what the question is asking me to do. Okay. Given a tree, एक ट्री दिया गया है और मैं एक डबल पर्सन हूँ, मुझे वायरस फैलाना है. सो अगर मैं एक वायरस एक पर्सन पे देता हूँ तो उसके पेरेंट्स, उसके चिल्ड्रन सब इन्फेक्ट हो जाते हैं. ओके. सो अब मुझे ऐसा करना है, किसी ऐसे तरीके से सब पे वायरस देना है. ओके. सब पे वायरस ऐसे तरीके से देना है, सब टोटल नंबर ऑफ वायरस इतना कम रखना है कि टोटल नंबर ऑफ वायरस यूज्ड इज द मिनिमम. Now it is asked that what is the total number of virus that is used. So let me just confirm this and then I will share the screen again. Let me just confirm. You need to return the total number of virus that is required. Yep, absolutely fine. So first tell me if this problem statement is clear or not. Okay, just tell me quickly. Just quickly do it. quickly telling me. Let me just open it. Okay. Okay. Clear. Thanks a lot, Joseph. Chalo. How to solve with this? Okay. So if I see up, let's say I use up a virus. Okay. Let's say I infect this person with the virus. I infect this person with the virus. Okay. And by this person would be infected. Okay. If I infect this person with the virus, infect this person with the virus, this both would infect us. Then I would require one more person with the virus, that is this. So in total, how many vaccines I have used? I have used 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I require 5 for it. Okay, if I spread out virus in this fashion, that is, I start with the very leaf. Okay, so if I start with the leaf, I would require 5 virus. Okay, now let's say I start from the top. So if I start from the top, I can see if I infect this person, this one would infect all of this, and this can be infected by just infecting this. So I would just require 2 virus. Okay, I would just require 2 virus to be specific. Okay, this is what I would require. So now let's understand the sample test case also, that sample test case पे कैसे output आता है. And I just gave you a hint. Okay, small hint. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, I will just quickly draw it. So it is told that we have 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. Now what I can do is I can take up a vaccine and I can infect these 3 folks. Okay, so one vaccine would infect all of this. One more vaccine would infect all of this. Immediate parent and its child. So I am infecting this person. So his parent and his child would be infected. I'm infecting this person. So his child and this child would be infected. Okay. That is why the output to the very first sample test case is just 2 itself. Okay. I hope I made sense. Chalo. Now we found out from this test case. याद है ये test case? When we kept people in the when we started vaccinating from the bottom, we found out that we require more vaccine. But similarly, when we started off from the top, we found out that we require kind of less vaccine. Okay, so what I can do is I can define a recursive function. Okay, first मुझे tops like bottom से एक solution build करना है. Okay, so what kind of solution do I require? I don't want to color the leaf nodes because that is not useful. If by one vaccine मैं इस तीनों को vaccinate कर सकता हूँ. If by one virus I can infect all of this, like let's not all, just this. If by using one vaccine I can infect all of this. If I infect this person, and if I infect this person, I would be able to just infect 2 per people. Okay, if I infect this person, I would be just able to infect these 2 people. So the most beneficial is that I take up a person who has 2 child as well as a parent. पहले उसे focus करना है. So I need to focus on the nodes which has a parent, which has a child. They would be the ones where I would be investing my virus upon, because वो सबसे ज़्यादा फायदा देगा. He himself, because see, if like it is told, it is given in the constraint कि a parent would be infected, himself would be infected, children would be infected. So I would try to infect the nodes which has all of these 3 features. If I infect this person, 1, 2, 3, 4 nodes would be infected. If I infect this person, only 2 nodes would be infected. If I infect just, जाओ यार भागो जल्दी जल्दी भागो, और कितना देर रहना है? Okay, yeah, भाग गया. अच्छा बच्चा. Okay, so if I infect this person, I would be able to infect 3. So the most beneficial was infecting this person, which would infect this much, which is 4. This is the maximum. So I would target the nodes which have all of this. Is there any issue with my stream? Okay. Entire screen. Okay. So चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. Okay. So infecting the person who has a parent, himself and the children is most important. So what we can do is we can define a DFS function, okay, where we would emphasize on the nodes which has all of this, okay. What we would do is we would kind of use this idea that if a particular node, okay, if a particular node has all the three conditions, that is this, we would increment a counter, okay. Else, if it is less than 3, we would simply need to, like, if let's say there are only two nodes, okay, let's say there are only two nodes. Here we, like, here no node has all the three conditions to be specific. Like, let's say we have this two condition. Okay, I told you that we would only focus on the nodes which would have parent, himself and children. But here no nodes have everything. Okay, so that is why we need to take care of this condition also. So now what I would do is I would write a DFS function. I would just write the pseudo code of it. Okay, just let me tell you. So if, like, what I can say is I would find the number of nodes required, okay, from both the branches. Okay, just count the number of nodes vaccine required by both the branches. So size of the subtree. If the left subtree size, if the left subtree size and the right subtree size, okay, if the left subtree and the right subtree, if both of them, if the sum of them, if the sum of them is equal to 0, is equal to 0, okay, then I would say, okay, this is fine. I would color this parent, this left and this right. Why? Because left and right are not vaccinated. Okay, left and right is not vaccinated, so I would vaccinate the left and the right and this parent. So if left and right doesn't require a vaccination, if RG plus LF, okay, left side plus right side, if they don't require a vaccination, that means that they both need to be vaccinated and the parent is not vaccinated. So I would say, okay, one vaccine is needed at this point. Okay, if the value is if the size is less than 3, that means node ऐसा है या सिर्फ ऐसा है, then we would return that no vaccine is needed. Else the size is 3 or more than 3, यहीं पे तो मुझे वैक्सीन चाहिए. ओके, यहीं पे मुझे वैक्सीन चाहिए, एंड एट दिस पॉइंट आई वुड ग्रुप आंसर प्लस प्लस. ओके, तो तीन कंडीशन क्या है फिर से समझते हैं. ओके, अगर लेफ्ट और राइट दोनों मिला के, ओके, लेफ्ट और राइट दोनों मिला के 0 आ रहा है तो वैक्सीन नहीं चाहिए। लेफ्ट और राइट दोनों मिला के नंबर ऑफ नोट्स लेस देन 3 है, सो स्टिल मुझे वैक्सीन नहीं चाहिए। अगर लेफ्ट और राइट दोनों मिला के ग्रेटर देन इक्वल टू 3 है, then only I would increment the boolean. But at the end, we would also keep a base case. That like base case would be the very same old famous base case of tree. That is, if it is a null node, return 0. Simple. Okay. So at the end, if we are returning 0, so it just means that यहाँ पे भी तो हम लोगों ने बोला था ना हमें वैक्सीन नहीं चाहिए। यहाँ पे we told that if the number of left and right is less than 3, we don't require a vaccine. But in reality, we do require a vaccine to color these two. So at the end, we would just ask that if the number is if the number is 0 or less than 2, we would use one vaccine, else we won't require one vaccine. Okay. It would require a bit of understanding of DFS, a little bit of kind of DP on trees. It is kind of a discussion. Like the solution seems simple, but it is difficult. So if you're not able to understand, wait for me to implement the solution, and then just do a dry run for this. I would show you the dry run, and then you would understand it. Okay, just let me do the dry run after this. Okay, so corona vaccine बनाते हैं. Okay, so I would just write int DFS, and then I would say node star root, and then I would say if I don't have this particular root. Okay, let's make this as R. Okay, or n, just n, simple n. इतना छोटा ही रखता है. I'm a very lazy person. If this node is null, return 0. अगर null point पे आ गए, return 0. Else I would find the value from the left and the right. So I would say DFS of nk left में जाओ or DFS nk right में जाओ, and the sum from both of them, if value is equals to 0, so I would say okay ठीक है, इसके लिए काम करो, return 3. Okay, why? Because they both need to be vaccinated. Okay, left and right as well as the parent needs to be vaccinated. Left or right कहीं से भी कोई vaccinated नहीं है. Okay, if value is less than 3, that means value अगर 2 है, let's say there are 2 nodes. Okay, so we would return 0 at this point. And at this point, if you are coming up, then obviously the value is greater than equal to 3. So that means there are 3 nodes, more than 3 nodes or 3 nodes, which is the ideal condition. यहीं पे मुझे vaccine देना है, so I would increase the value of an answer variable and I would return 1. Okay, मैंने एक vaccine दे दिया, one vaccine is vaccinated. I can use a global variable or I can pass by reference a variable side by side. Now what I would do is I would call the answer int DFS of root. Okay, now I would simply ask, देखो भैया DFS, if answer is greater than 2, okay, if answer is greater than 2, then answer plus is equals to 1, else क्या करो, simply answer ही रहने दो. Okay, so at the end I would just return the value of the answer. How is this working? I will just explain it that also. Just wait for a second. This is simple but a little bit hard to understand. कहाँ पे गलती हुआ? N dash right, N dash left, the value is equals to 0, it would return 3. Then if value is less than 3, okay, the value is less than 3 होगा, then only this value would be greater than equal to 3, no? Yep. And then answer plus plus return 1. If the answer is more than 2, answer plus 1, answer plus 1, else return answer. If DFS's answer is greater than 2, then I would return answer plus is equals to 1. सही है सही है. Okay, upper side also we have a thing known as answer. So let's make it answer 2. Answer 2. Answer 2. Answer 2. Now I should have the correct value. Still I don't have. So answer 2 is equals to DFS of. Okay, this won't return anything. Okay. I would simply call this DFS. I would simply call this DFS. After calling the DFS, the answer would be stored in this one. No? Okay. Now the answer should pop up. Mhm. Wrong answer. Your test cases work certainly. If value and no dash left, no dash right, if value equals to 0, we would return 3. If value is less than 3, return 0. Else answer plus plus, return 1. DFS of 1. If after all of this, if DFS of root, yeah, if DFS of the root is greater than 2, can only do answer plus plus, else do answer minus 1. What say you? Actually, I used a conditional statement for that. Okay, the conditional statement was like this. Okay, the conditional statement was BFS of root if it is greater than 2, then consider using answer plus 1 and consider using answer. So this is the same thing. Okay, if this condition is true, I would evaluate this. If this condition is false, this is false. So I had this thing in mind, but to just make it simple for beginners, I was in my mind breaking this up in an if statement. So that is why I was messing up a little bit in this small snippet of code, because I was thinking in this manner and I was writing in this that manner. Okay, so now let me just do the dry run of this. Okay, because it might be a scenario that a dry run would be required for this. What is this whole thing itself? Mhm. Okay, now let us do the dry run. What is this test case? कैसा test case देखें? Okay, I will draw a test case. No. Am I visible? Okay. Okay, I'm visible. So, okay. So now, let's say we have a root. Okay, we have a tree structure, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so we start from the root, that is 1. Okay, we start from the root. Root is not equal to null, so it would find the value for the left and right. Now we would go to 2. 2's left and right is null, so it would bring 0 from both of them. Okay, so from both of them we got the value 0. So I would return 3 from here. I would return 3 from here. Okay, so a 3 would be returned from there because the value was 0. Now, if the value is equals to 0, then I would return 3. Now at this position, here also 1 would go to 3, 3 would go to 4, 4 के left और right में 0 0 है, which would return 3. 5 के left और right में 0 0 है, which would return 3. Now, if the value is greater, 3 plus 3 is greater than 3, so this we would use 6 here. So यहाँ पे I required one vaccine. 6 plus 3 is equals to 9. So I would require one more vaccine. So I would require two vaccine. Okay, now let us see if I would require, how can I do it by using only one vaccine? Yes, I can do it by using only two vaccine. One vaccine can be used to infect all of this. One vaccine could be used to infect just these two. Now do I make sense? Give me a quick one. This is how basically फ्रॉम द लीफ नोड्स के नीचे से 0 0 आ रहा है, वो 3 आ जा रहा है, वहां से भी 3, यहाँ से भी 3, अगर दोनों से ही 3 आ रहा है तो वो वहां जाके 6 हो जाएगा. ओके, दैट इज हाउ वी आर डूइंग दैट थिंग. सो डू आई मेक सेंस? गिव मी अ क्विक वन and make a bigger tree so that you can also understand the last step like this one. Now give me a quick 0 or 1 and I can just turn off the stream at this point. और सब बढ़िया सबका. So अब I'm a good person and I'm not dealing with virus, I'm dealing with corona vaccine. In spite of me having zero knowledge about medicines and all. So I would just replace this code, run and generate URL. And then I would copy this code and then I would submit this code, give it to you. So I would be waiting for the next 30 seconds. If I don't receive any doubts for the next 30 seconds, I would turn off this session. Okay. Today's session was a little bit on the easier side. It took less time to explain. Like the codes were absolutely very simple, only the understanding was a little bit difficult. Still, if you were able to understand the solution but you are not able to solve a problem like this, like the third one is a kind of a little bit tinge, I can say, a little bit tinge of DP on trees. Okay, Geek2 genius invented vaccine. It is given out there or what? Geek has developed effective vaccine for coronavirus and he wants enhances in the geek land to access it. मैं बहुत बड़ा नूब हूँ मेडिसिन सवाल में. Still when I fall sick or even if I feel a headache, I don't know the medicine. I just go to the shop and I ask कि भैया मैं सिर दर्द हो रहा है एक medicine दे दो, and I don't know about medicines or something. Okay, so I think I'm good to go. I'm not raising any doubts and there is no point making the stream go longer. So the last verse from me. So even though if you're not able to solve the problem, it seems easy, but today the solution seemed easy, but the thinking process of all the solution was a little bit tough. So even though you were not able to solve all the problems, consider yourself lucky that you would be learning something new. So if you're watching this stream in the recorded version, or if you were the person who was standing till this last point of time, consider waiting 1 minute more, refresh the page, and then you can comment on the video so that I would feel a little bit better reading out the comments and smiling to myself. That's it for today. Thank you and have a nice day.